Today I'm going to show you guys how to set OBS for Twitch streaming and YouTube recording. So you freshly downloaded OBS and you want to know how to set it up. So I'm going to show you step by step how to get that set up. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to the top left and you want to go to settings. And in here, there is a lot of different options that you can go through, but I'm only going to show you the most important ones. Everything else you can have a read over yourself, see what applies to you, and maybe have a look on Google or YouTube for any information about general settings, appearance, anything like that. So the first one you're going to go into is stream. And for our explanation, I'm going to use Twitch. And we're going to connect our account. Now you connect your account yourself and the days of having to use a stream key are over. So don't worry about stream keys, just connect your account. And when you hit go live, you should be able to stream straight to Twitch. Then we move over to output and we're going to stay on streaming and we're going to choose our video encoder. So we have NVIDIA NVENC H264, this one. This one uses your graphics card to stream to Twitch. So if you use this, you would want to have a good graphics card, and NVIDIA and Twitch work very close together. So this is the preferred one if you have a good enough graphics card. I would recommend anything above a 2080, maybe even 2080 Ti graphics card for NVENC. I used to stream on a 1080 graphics card, and yeah, I definitely think that you should have a good graphics card in order to stream on NVENC. In the future, they will be bringing out another version of NVENC that you might be able to use if your computer is powerful enough. But for your first streams, I'd recommend NVENC for your graphics card or X264, which is your CPU. The CPU running stream will mean you have a very strong CPU, but your graphics card isn't good enough in your opinion. For your first streams, it doesn't really matter which one that you choose because you can switch between them when you want to settle down with some of these settings on OBS. So nothing that you choose here is something that you can't change in the future. You can change anything that we do here. I pretty much leave everything here on default except for the two most important ones. If you want to go down the rabbit hole of learning what all of this does, pretty much go on YouTube or go on Google and just type in OBS tuning, OBS psychovisual tuning, all that. So your bitrate 6000 kbps. This is pretty much what's going to determine your image quality on Twitch, and it's all determined by your upload speed. So do a speed test and see what your upload is. Don't do that on stream. You want to do this privately. And if your upload is 10 or above, then you could probably go for the 6000 kbps. And if your internet is between 6 and 10, I'd recommend maybe a 4500 kbps. And you can start off with 4000 kbps for your first streams if you wish, just to see how everything works, and then change it here. You just type it in 4500 and click apply. So you just do that. And I stream at 6000, as I said. When it comes to Twitch, the image is never going to be perfect, especially when you play games that have a lot of movement. So don't worry too much if your stream is a tiny bit blurry, as long as it's watchable. If you have a stream that's not watchable, then you know you're either on the wrong bitrate or your internet isn't strong enough. If you have any questions about bitrate, put them in the comment section. I'll try and explain in there because bitrate makes a big difference to your streaming. Then you have your preset. I'd recommend staying on medium quality. You're going to have to choose a preset for NVENC when you use your graphics card, and you're going to have to choose one if you're using your CPU as well. Recommend medium speed for that, medium quality. I should probably move down to slow because I have a good enough graphics card, but I'll do that in the future. The lower you go, or the slower you go, the meatier your PC needs to be. So if you don't have a monster PC, keep it on medium. And it will make a difference, but it won't make that much of a difference. It's definitely better to have something that's stable and looks good. So for YouTube, this is going to be very simple. I usually just keep my video encoder on my CPU. You can change that to NVENC if you like. and everything here stays the same. Maybe put your videos into your D drive instead of putting them on your SSD to save space. But other than that, this is pretty much all the basic standard settings. The one thing that you would want to change when it comes to recording for YouTube is your bitrate. You are not trying to upload your bitrate to Twitch live. You are pretty much packaging the product, the video, on your PC. So you can actually go up to 12,000 kbps like I have for this. Some people go up to 16,000. I'd say anywhere between 10 and 16,000 is the best place to be. And because you're making video instead of live stream, your videos will always look better than your live streams will. So having a 12,000 kbps will make one of your games that doesn't look great on stream look amazing on YouTube. And that's only for YouTube video, not for YouTube live streams, unfortunately. Live streams will always be a little bit blurry. You just have to keep them watchable. And then we move over to audio. And for audio, I'd recommend your desktop audio. Choose whichever way your music is coming in, or the sounds from your desktop pretty much, so that you can show the audience on Twitch the music that you're playing pretty much. So if you are listening to YouTube for your music, you want to have this set to whatever system the YouTube is coming through on your PC. The reason why this is disabled on my screen is because I have a very weird setup with my broadcast stream mix, which most of you won't have. So if you have any extra questions about audio, either ask me in the comment section, or you might have to Google or YouTube the best audio setup for OBS. You want to do the same thing here for your mic. So you want to choose your mic in here, and we will double check to make sure they're working when we get onto the main screen. So just to be clear, this is kind of where your YouTube music is going to come from, and this is where your microphone is going to go in. So video is next, and we have our base canvas resolution and output scaled resolution, and we have our FPS. So this is the resolution of your monitor. So I have that at 1920 by 1080p, and make sure you put that to the resolution of your monitor. Your scaled resolution is the resolution that you're going to upload to Twitch. Now, aiming for 1080p is important, but I'd recommend doing your first streams in 720p just to test everything, just to see if your internet can handle it, your computer can handle it, and just to see if everything's working before you try and upgrade to 1080p. So the scaled resolution at 1080p is going to be affected by your bitrate. Having a 1080p image go through at 6,000 bitrate is going to look good, especially when you're standing still on your stream. But when you start moving, it's going to get a tiny bit blurry. However, if you are streaming at 4,500 bitrate because your internet isn't good enough, and you're still trying to stream at 1080p, your image is going to look really bad when you move. Your bitrate needs to be as high as possible if you're streaming at 1080p. And if you are streaming at 720p, 6,000 bitrate is going to look a lot better when you move. Obviously, the image won't be as crisp when you're standing still, but it'll definitely be better if you're on a slower internet connection. Try and keep this at 60, but if you see that your frames are dropping a constant amount, then you can change that to 30. But especially in this day and age, I think on Twitch 60 is practically a must at this point. So that is pretty much everything that you can do in the settings to get set up. Technically you're ready to stream, but I'm going to show you how to set up a couple of scenes just to get you started. Everything else in here, make sure you have a look around yourself, because I leave everything by default unless I fully understand that you don't need any of this to get started. So to create your first scene, you have to right click down here in the bottom left and then add, and then create your scene. I've created YouTube ready for this video, and I've added an image just so there's something on here for you guys to see. Then you right click on the middle and you hover over add, and then you add your input capture device. That's your microphone. I've already got one down here, so I won't add one right now. And you would also add your audio output capture, which is your YouTube and your desktop audio. So real quick for these audios, let me just show you. You can see me talking here. And when it comes to your microphone, you want your microphone to be hitting around the yellow, just at the top of yellow. And that way you know you're close enough to your mic and your viewers are going to be able to hear you. If you let your voice go a little bit lower and it goes below -40, people won't be able to hear you. But also if you stop talking, which I'm going to do in a second, and you see that this bar is still bouncing, there's still audio coming through, whether it's background noise, maybe your desktop audio is coming through your microphone instead of through the desktop audio where it's supposed to. I'm going to stop talking now and see if we have any background noise in here. Now you obviously could still hear the music from the YouTube video, but other than that, we went all the way back down to 0. So pretty much if you have some background noise and it's less than -50, maybe -55, that can be normal with some microphones. Obviously, my recommendation is to listen to your VODs back, to your stream back, to hear if there's a loud whistling noise or anything. And don't get too crazy about audio from the very beginning. You want to make sure that your stream's working first before you worry about things like audio and visuals. As soon as it's working, then you can start getting into the rabbit hole of fixing everything. Just a top tip, when I have my desktop audio coming through, I usually try and have it about -30 decibels, which seems to go well with my voice, which is at -10. So the difference there is enough so that I'm louder than my music. But you can mess around with that. As I said already, my audio setup is very different from everyone else's. So make sure if you are confused, you type a message in the comment section. I'll try and help out specific questions. And if you still can't figure it out, make sure you Google it, make sure you YouTube it, audio settings for OBS. I'm sure you'll come across a video that teaches you how to do the audio. Right click and then hover over add, and then you go to display capture. So display capture is pretty much capturing your monitor. And that's what I'm doing right now for this video. I'm capturing what's on my monitor. And you would use this if you ever want to bring up a YouTube video, or if you ever want to bring up some sort of meme or something that you want to show your viewers. But I generally wouldn't use this all the time. If you are using this all the time, then you have a chance of sharing information that you don't want to share. So I'd recommend using game capture. And if you add game capture, usually what I do with game capture is I click on game capture and I actually I'm going to add existing here, reviews. Now what reviews does is it allows me to choose what game I'm playing at that moment. So how I set up my reviews is I have mode capture specific window, and then I hit the drop down for window and I choose the game that I'm currently looking to capture. Rocket League, Satisfactory, Terraria, etc. And then I pretty much click OK. Make sure cursor is clicked, and that allows you to see the cursor and there won't be any delay with the cursor as well. To add your camera, you're going to go to add, and you're going to go to video capture device. And if you go to video capture device and click OK, you'll have a camera that comes up on the screen, and you'll be able to move it around. You change your camera settings, so it's Logitech StreamCam for me, and then you go to resolution type, change that to custom, and then I usually match output FPS, but you can do that at 60 if you want as well. If there's a way for you to select that, always try and do 60, and of course your resolution as well. I would recommend starting off at 1920 by 1080 and then just dragging it around so that you resize it yourself, and everything else you can just mess around with. Honestly, you won't have to worry about your camera. It's one of the easier ones to set up. Right click and you go to add, and you go to browser. That's how you are going to add all of your alerts. So you pretty much take your alerts from Stream Elements or Streamlabs, whichever one you use. They'll give you a link for follower alert, for example. You'll set up all your audio over there, and you copy and paste the link into the browser, and then it'll come up here. And I'd recommend constantly doing tests to see how loud it is. You don't want it to be too loud. You want it to come up. You don't want it to take up too much of the screen. Spend some time with it and just have a lot of patience. If you have your video capture device down at the bottom of this sources area, and the splash screen that you're using is blocking your camera, just pull the camera up above that and it'll work in layers from top to bottom so that you can now see your video capture device. But your reviews is now above video capture device. So as soon as you start capturing the game, your camera is going to disappear again. So put that up to the top. I usually try and have my video capture device at the top along with any of my alerts so that they come on top of the game that I'm playing and they come on top of the splash screens that I use. And if you want to add a splash screen like this, by the way, just right click, go to add and go to image and then add an image from your own computer. And you can have something in the background so it's not just a black screen. When you feel like you're ready, click start streaming and have your own channel open to see if everything is going okay. Watch your own VODs, maybe even watch your own stream for a little bit just to see if everything's working, and don't be too stressed if it doesn't work at the beginning. Just take your time. You will get it right and you will learn. You'll learn a lot of stuff from this. Then of course you have start recording. That's going to record YouTube videos for you, which you can then go in and edit and upload on YouTube. Be careful that you don't click start streaming by accident when you're trying to record. Otherwise you're going to look like an idiot. I've seen so many people do that. Some people of course do that on purpose. So I hope that this was helpful for you. And just one word of advice is you're going to learn a lot of things about OBS and streaming bit by bit just by doing this, and things are going to go wrong, but don't give up as soon as something goes wrong. You literally want to learn about it and you're going to figure out how to get around any issues. I'm hoping I covered most of those issues in here. There's pretty much going to be a load of them that are going to happen that I haven't been able to even think about since I've been streaming for such a long time. So make sure you ask any questions you have in the comments. I'll try and help, and I'll maybe even help you find links to videos that help with specific issues that you're having. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.